Level Up Latina partners with working women and mamas alike to guide them in achieving fulfilling career and life goals through financial empowerment, professional or leadership coaching, and personal wellness. Find the unique coaching you need to succeed.
You're listening to Vettel, Ceci, and Irene, and we are Level Up Latina.
Welcome back to another Level Up Latina podcast. That was my squeaky chair saying hello. This is episode 344, and we're going to continue this conversation at the halfway point in the year. Some of us are, might be at our halfway point of like walking out the door. I'm just kidding. At our jobs or halfway in the job, right? So whatever it is that you're doing, we want to have more intention, like this intentional discussion about our careers, because we've had some really lighthearted, fun episodes. Our audience knows that we're very lighthearted, loving mujeres, but at the same time, we're chingonas. So we also have this career part to our podcast. With this podcast, this episode is, are you living your passion or your excuses? It came out from a TED Talk synopsis, a little TED Talk I watched, but I felt the word dissonance, cognitive dissonance. The Latina in me was like, how dare you just talk about passion? How many responsibilities I have? Like, I don't have time for passion. But at the same time, it was kind of like yeah, I hear you. How am I going to left what I work and todo eso? So I'll give a little more information on that once I check in with my co-hosts, Ceci and Irene. ¿Cómo se encuentran hoy?
Bien, here on a Monday, recording, starting off the month.
Cool. We're over here doing research so that we can create a video platform instead of an audio platform. So we're multitasking, learning about this platform upgrade. We're talking about careers. We're doing it all today.
There you go. Sí, por eso somos chingonas. We're like, we will figure it out. We reached out to some resources. Irene, you're you're so good at doing the research. I love it. So thank you. I really appreciate it for looking more into that, because we want to continue to give a great podcast, and then hopefully they get to see our beautiful faces. I was doing this earlier. Sorry, you guys can't see us. I have little hanging cheek. I have hanging cheek disease, and that's more like in my face, you guys. Don't think about my butt, because that's hanging too. But I was looking at that. I was like, oh my God. But this is from when I was nursing the kids. You know how I did it for like 5 years straight? Así. So I was constantly like this or like this. Y se me colgaron los cachetes. So Ceci, send me some tips. I have to send you some tips on the dry lip. Los de arriba, chicos, los de arriba, chicas. But anyway, I'm glad you ladies are doing well. I really was interested in this, even though, like I said, there's a little bit of cognitive dissonance. I'm going to give you guys a quick TED Talk synopsis on the career talk I was mentioning. So there's a TED Talk called Why You Will Fail to Have a Great Career. So there's an economist and career coach, Larry Smith, that argues that most people don't fail because they lack talent or opportunity. They fail because they make excuses. He believes many people settle for careers that are merely good, quote unquote good, or comfortable, rather than pursuing work they are truly passionate about. Throughout the talk, he humorously calls out common excuses such as waiting for the right moment, believing you're not exceptional enough because Latinas are, prioritizing security, or convincing yourself that passion is unrealistic. His central message is that passion, not mere interest, is what allows people to achieve the highest expression of their talents. So the Latinas in us is like, what do you mean passion? Like I was saying, I have responsibilities. I'm the eldest daughter, or I'm the youngest, and everyone's accomplished this, and I have to accomplish the same. So we are in a world that is just like, can we even cater to our passions? Can we even make room for that, right? So at the same time, are we living our passions or our excuses? So the opening question. What do you guys think about this topic, though? You guys think it's going to be good? It's good?
It's great.
Yeah. Okay.
I love it.
Qué bueno. Estoy emocionada. So to open up our conversation, what if the biggest thing standing between you and the life you want isn't your circumstances? It's a story you're telling yourself, right? So, for example, Larry Smith kind of mentions, he says, Larry Smith says most people won't have great careers because they make excuses. Today, we're actually going to explore whether that's true, whether it's true, and what happens when life is more complicated than a TED Talk. And it's complicated because, like I said, we're Latinas. But what if the biggest thing standing between you and the life you want are your circumstances? If it's a story you're telling yourself. Do you think that with Latinas we have too much in our head to let us move forward into the careers that we want?
Yeah, I think a lot of Latinas have a lot of guilt. They have a lot of their family in their brain and a lot of pressure from what their family is telling them they should do in their careers, or they should have, or they should be, at least from my own personal experience and the women in my age group. I feel that there's a lot of pressure from your family. And I feel for me personally to build the life that I have today, which I feel I'm very satisfied in and very passionate about, I often feel like misunderstood and judged by my family. And I get like a critical eye a lot because it's different than what they would have thought I would have pursued to not rock the boat. I think I'm still sort of seen as someone that rocks the boat a lot because I just do things a little differently. And in fact, my brother, that's 2 years older than me, just texted me when I was in Italy last week, and he's like, don't tell anybody else, but you're my favorite. And he was being very loving and very like validating, and he goes, I don't tell you enough, I love you. And I'm like, you tell me all the time. I actually am quite fulfilled with how much you do. You also fight with me and fight with all of us, but you love us so passionately. And he put this really long Instagram quote about telling his daughter, like, I'm not like your tia that travels the world, but every time I travel I miss you, because he happened to be in Florida, and tagged me on that and said all these really, really wonderful things. And he's like, you're always doing it different, and you're always just out there being different. And he's like, and that makes you my favorite. Like, you are my favorite because you do that. And that is very validating, but I don't get that a lot from my siblings. If anything, I get sort of like that, weirdness from them. My mom is constantly giving me a hard time because it's like, where are you now? What are you doing now? But I feel Latinas are facing that a lot. Like, do you want to be criticized? Do you want to be understood? Do you want to be comfortable, but actually not passionate? Like, there's that battle. And I always see that in my clients. And I talk to them all the time about their truest desires and their passions, and not just like comfort or lack of criticism or following the path their parents or siblings think they should follow.
I'm smiling because I love that your brother shared that with you. Like, nunca me hubiera imaginado a ese hermano decirte eso, and I love that right? I love that he did that. So yeah, it's
he's a sweetheart. He's such a like whirlwind. Like, his emotions are everywhere, but he wears them on his sleeve, and it's just really validating, really sweet.
I love it. Yeah, I think similar to what you said, Irene, I think, if you've been with us for a while, been a listener, we talk about this all the time, about the guilt as Latinas, and even catch up with last week's episode where we talked about this. I talked about this, how, people get in your head and you feel the guilt, like we should be grateful for the opportunities given to us. So that like makes us get like stall in a lot of ways with careers and asking for things that we want. And I think that's like the hard part to get over. And I think that's why a lot of us Latinas get stuck in like, pues aquí tengo buen trabajo, gano bien, and aquí estoy, and and it's a job, it's a job. But I guess, we as Latinas, first gen, we are all about changing the narrative. And it's like, no, we are going to be here for the long run with our careers. This is where we spent the majority of our time. So we should be advocating, and we should be doing the things that moves us and that we're passionate about. So yes, we should be moving, growing within our careers, and not feeling stuck.
Amen to that. I think that it's a mixture of all of that, right? I feel that sometimes many of our Latino parents will tell us, we're proud of you, right? Or we're so proud of you. You've come such a long way. Oh my God. And I remember when you just couldn't read and you were still in the 4th grade, and look at you now. You're a doctor, right? No, I'm just kidding. Well, hopefully you are a doctor. You couldn't read in the 4th
Or they're like,
grade.
you're a failure because you're not a doctor.
Yeah,
like,
right?
Oh my God. No.
Tanto trabajo para que nomás no fueras doctor.
Exacto. Para que trabajes en la casa, ¿qué es eso? Like,
I know, man. Our parents can definitely point things out, and we gotta love them for that. But there's so many things like tugging at us, right? Because we're creating this new life with obviously these two different things, right? We get home and it's a group of ideas and morals and the way they discuss things, and discuss things. And then we're part of the world. We're part of the real world. That we're like, oh my God, Tina, or hey, oh my God, Karen, right? Where you are introduced to different things, right? So I think we're just constantly tugged, and I feel that it's hard to really to be a Latina and grow professionally and get past the guilt and have people understand what you really do, right? So with that said, I feel that the first question I could say officially is, what does a great career actually mean, right? So we've talked about this in our podcast before, but it's mostly been, the question was more like titled in the sense we've led it with, what does success look like for you? But what does a great career actually mean? So, this man, Larry, talks about having a great career, but what does great actually mean? So, Ceci, in your perspective, is having a great career, what does it entail for you?
I think it means different things to different people, because what's a great career to Irene might not be a great career to me or to you, Vero. Like, it entails what you believe it to be. And in my opinion, and in my world and my field, I do believe I have a great career. Right. I started from the bottom. No, here, but
hey.
No, but right. but I started in a private law firm where I thought, like, oh my God, this is great. This is awesome. I'm making good money, and I'm working these late, long hours and these huge bonuses. So I thought, yeah, this is a great career. But then life happens. And again, this is things that the reoccurring topic in our podcast, life happens. We get married. Some of us have children. And then is it a great career then? It wasn't anymore for me, right? So then now I pivoted. I went to nonprofit. And that's what it means to me. Having a great career is having flexibility, having benefits, being paid for what, your value, what you're worth, and having a team that backs you. I think that's having a great career. So,
all right, thanks, Ceci. Yeah, that's right. But you're right. It does mean different things for different people, and also, like you had the previous conversation on our podcast. Does your career align with your life, right? So, Irene, I can't wait to hear from you. Like, what does it mean in your instance? What does it mean to have a great career? Because I think you're living it, baby girl.
Yeah, I think for me in the beginning, and this is going to sound idealistic, for me in the beginning, I felt the money would come. And so I was very passionate about things like flexibility. I was not going to have a commute. Like, that's like the lowest of the low, right? To some people, but I've never had one, and I never wanted to have one. So like knowing what I will do, what I won't do. And I always wanted to be in a mission serving, sort of impact serving organization that I went and found one that literally I wrote down, well, if I could pick my mission, what mission would it be? So I went to an organization that served this population, did this work with college access because I wanted to do that. I dabbled in others and I'm like, I'm not excited about that at all. And I knew that it didn't pay me a lot in the beginning, but I'm a hustler and I'm hungry. So I knew like the money would come if I was passionate, because passion doesn't pay the bills. And I was aware of that. But the biggest thing that I wanted in my life and my career was that I wanted flexibility for my own life, for my own outside of my career. So travel is a crazy part of my lifestyle. Everybody knows that if you know me. Well, there's no way in hell I could have this travel life if I couldn't afford it, one, and B, and if my job didn't have the flexibility that it has for it. So I have driven my passions first to then find the money to fulfill what I'm really passionate about, which is what my career affords me outside of the office, outside of work. So a livable wage is obviously so important. Fulfilling work is so important. And not just a livable wage, a good wage is so important. Flexibility has always been important, even before all of this work from home craze, or, this ability to do work from anywhere in the world and being a nomad. But to me, it's always been about being excited about the work. And I love the work that I get to do every day. I love to work with really good people that love the mission of the work. And then I'm very okay with talking about money. And we're here to make money. We're here to raise money. We're here to have as much money as the universe will give us that we believe that we're worth. And I think that that is good for a career. It's okay to say, like, I want to be paid. I want to make the bag, because that'll afford me a life. Paying for my kids' college without debt, or traveling with my family, or buying nice things, or having nice things, or owning a home, or having a car that doesn't break down every 6 months because you have a new car every couple of years, right? I knew that my life would get there if I was passionate about the work first. And then if I never stopped thinking, well, what's the path to the money? Well, I work. So being an entrepreneur has also, by the way, people who listen to this, we're not lucky. We work hard. Being an entrepreneur has also afforded me a lifestyle that I love. So getting to coach women is the absolute blessing. I get to do that all over the world. I get to teach them about things I did right, things that I did wrong, about changing tides, about mindset shifts, about making money work for you, about passive income. I mean, I could go on and on and on. The point is that doesn't feel like work, and yet it brings a revenue that has afforded me a comfortable life. So a career really does have to be something that you want to be in. Someone said in an earlier podcast, you knew that you were stagnant because you didn't want to go to work. And I sat here with such a privilege and a joy thinking, I can't think of the last time I didn't want to go to work. I cannot think of the last time that I like dreaded. And my job isn't always easy.
Dang, what a flex.
No, I can't think of not. I cannot because my job is so great on the flip side.
Yeah.
I look forward to like shooting the shit and going to my office and being with people and feeling good. And that is like, wow, que gran privilegio that I do not take for granted. I do not take that for granted.
Es un privilegio, for sure.
Eso sí. So I think for me, like obviously, I think of the three of us, I've been the one to go through many more changes.
And build a beautiful family in the process.
In the process, build a beautiful family, build a business, get to like see you ladies, get to like reconnect with an audience, like we have a following, you guys. Sometimes it gets really like weird to know that there's other people listening to our conversations, right? But it really is having a successful career or a great career means that you're doing things on your terms, right? That things that align with what you believe and what you are willing to kind of do. Like this involves like the risks and sacrifices. It involves like, you know, am I willing to risk, right? Spending more time in the office than spending time with my kids. So it's all these things. But I think having a great career means being, you know, in a place that's also adaptable, a place where there's flexibility, where you can share you can make it very non-conventional. I'm a very non-conventional kind of person. And I think I've molded my roles in, like, even though I've been very corporate-y led organizations, into jobs or roles that really benefit me, right? Right now it's where I'm back at, like, I don't get to work from home because it's very customer facing, the work that I do now. So I don't get to go and take a day home or stay home. And sometimes they ask me to work weekends. But you know what? I wouldn't do it if I didn't have a great team. If I didn't have a great team, I would dread it. I would be like, nope, I'm calling in sick today. I don't want to be there. But I feel that having a great career is also, like Ceci, I think you're the one who said, right? Having a team that backs you, that supports you. And I feel that makes working in a place where we spend most of our time, right? You're at a place where you spend more time there than you do with your family, has to have that. And that goes with a place where you can communicate, where you can be yourself, a place where you can implement new ideas, new processes that are going to benefit everyone, right, as a whole. And there goes the music. Go through. You guys hear that?
Hey.
Dang, Compton riding smooth. But I feel that that's what makes it a great career. And it's not like I agree. It's going to look very different for everyone. But I feel that obviously these things change. And I feel that many of us have grown up to believe that a great career is a stable job or pay the bills and don't take the unnecessary risks. Like all three of us have been in a position of like, I'm leaving the job. I'm going to do something new. And nos miraban como loquitas. Like, ¿por qué te vas a ir? Like, why are you going to leave a place that's paying you and you have benefits and you're making bonuses and you're doing this? But we knew deep down inside that what felt right for us. So I think we have to bring it back to that, to maybe it's not your full passion, but is it making impact? Is it making, what is it really doing for you, your career? So think about that kind of stuff if you're listening to this. So do you think well, I don't think so. Do you guys agree that I feel that Latinas have mostly been raised to pursue passion or security over security?
I think security.
No, sorry,
no. Yeah, security
over passion. Thank you.
Yeah.
For sure.
Dyslexia.
No. For sure. And in fact, Vito, you had talked about how it's like passion versus excuses was sort of the theme of this episode. Like, I think that becomes people's excuse. Oh, but it's stable. Oh, but they pay me enough. Oh, but it's whatever. I'm comfortable here. Like, this is what I went to college for. I'm not like super excited about it, but that's what I got my degree in. Like, that level of chasing comfort and it's enough is an excuse, if you allow it to be an excuse. And I think, unfortunately, it's a privilege. I don't want to sound like we are pretentious by any means. Our parents worked so hard, cleaning houses, being gardeners, in my example, like busting their tail. They would have loved to have not gone to that job, right? No, they don't want to clean somebody else's toilet and they don't want to mow lawns in the sun. I'm sure that they would have loved something else. So they worked really hard for me to have the privilege to sit here right now and say that I love going to the office every day. But I get the other side of it. Like, you don't want to be selfish. Maybe you're in a situation where you're like, my parents worked so hard. I have this job that I hate, but they were gardeners and they were house cleaners and I shouldn't quit this job because, I have it better than them. But that's an excuse for your success to stop. Like, that's the struggle. Like, you can be privileged and aware and grateful, but you don't have to stop. Like, you can keep being hungry for more, and it does sometimes require you to like rock the boat. And I think Latinas are challenged with that all the time. Like, oh, I want to be grateful. I don't want to rock the boat. Like, my parents did so much for me to have this boat that I'm on. But it might not be your boat, y'all. Like, it might not be the boat you're meant to be on. Like, the work situation now where people hop around to make more money. You know how many boats they've been riding? They've been riding the wave. Better, you've been on plenty of boats. Like, if you stayed on the first boat, if any of us stayed on the first boat, I'm so glad I didn't stay on the first couple of boats I rode. I'd be working at Ross, y'all. Point is, we gotta rock that boat.
No, that be just working. You be running, Ross, okay? You be running.
They did give me a quarter raise. They did give me a quarter raise that first week. They liked me. But point is, we are so ingrained to be grateful to not rock the boat that it's an excuse to not grow sometimes. And I feel like the struggle is real.
Yeah, I think we get caught up also in the whole idea of like, well, I mean, we've talked about it so many times. Well, what are they going to say? They're going to say this, that, and the other. And who cares? Honestly, it gets to the point where it's like, who cares if it feels right? I want to give shout out to one of our GFSers who recently was like, I quit my job, y'all, and I didn't have anything lined up. But she was just done. She was over it. She had gone from one university, working within one university, went to work at a really prestigious university after that. And she was just like, nah, this is not the business. This is not where I want to be. I'm not happy. And she had got a significant pay raise from going from one of the universities to the other. She was really excited. She got to move away from home. You know how it is with Latino parents, like, no te vas hasta que te cases. And she was just like, I'm done with that. She broke so many barriers with that one job move. And I'm so proud of her. I hope you're listening to this episode, girl, because you did it. And you're going to keep doing it. Because now you know that it wasn't that hard. And did you die? But you did not. Okay. So you're good. Thank God. Right. But it's scary, right? Because we're wondering what they're going to say. So I know if I were to look back at my career now, like I think my younger self would talk shit about me. Like, what is she doing? Where is she working? Oh my God. Pero why? Like, why?
How many kids? How many kids is she? Yeah.
What? When? She what? Oh my God. Like, she stayed home? What? She'll probably trip out. She would definitely talk ish about me, and that's okay. I allow her to. Because I'm happy. She maybe she's living a different life in another dimension right now. Didn't we talk about dimensions in our text messages the other day?
Yeah.
So you guys, we're weird. We're cool. We're interplanetary. But anyway,
and then last episode we talked about chakra. Look at us being all new age. All new age.
There you go.
Las brujas.
Actually, I want to do a side note. Like, Irene, when you were talking earlier, everything you were saying kept bringing up a song, like work, 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 and then it was like
that's a Rihanna song. Who sings that one?
That's a Rihanna song. Yeah,
it's a Rihanna song.
But you kept saying other things, and I was like, another song. You know. Anyway,
I'm just a walking musical playlist.
There you go, girl. Music just resonating from you. So. Another part of this thing, so it's like the excuses we tell ourselves, right, when we're trying to move on or grow in our careers or get that job that we really, really want, but we're so afraid to go for it because we have security, we have stability, we have the paycheck. So common excuses are like, I don't have time, right? Do you think, is it really a lack of time or is it like a lack of priority? What do you ladies think?
Lack of priority, I think, right? Because si te acomodas bien and if you get organized, it's very doable. I have a million things, right, on a day-to-day, on my to-do list, work, personal, o sea, de todo un poco. But I get the stuff that I need to get done. I get it done because, again, there's no room for an excuse. I need to get these things done. I need to, make food. I need to wash, the laundry, the uniforms for the kids. I need to finish an estate plan for this client. I need to make sure we have the podcasting on the calendar, because if I don't get that done or put in the calendar, guess what? You won't be listening to this because it won't happen, right? So, yes, there's excuses, but there's a way. If you stay organized, you make it happen. Maybe, wake up a little bit earlier, make it happen. I don't know if that answers your question, but.
No, but it's kind of hitting something that we had discussed earlier. In
She's like, no, you did not.
Just kidding. No. What I'm saying is, it did answer my question, yes. But what I was saying, it hit home for me, because you know how you say you have a list of things to do, and if is it priority or is it what? Like for me, we were talking about posting on social media, and I'm like, not that I dread it, I know it's going to be good for our business. And I know I've told you ladies, like, we have to show our faces and we have to do this. And I am the worst, because I don't it's not that I don't prioritize it, but because I do dread it, I don't do it. And it's terrible, right? Because I'm failing the team, right? Because we've said, let's do this. And it's not that I'm lacking the priority or I do it. It's just like this dread. And then after that, I'm just like, oh, they won't notice.
We will freaking notice.
And I'm like, oh, why is Ceci texting me again? I already know I know I'm supposed to post.
Ceci's got on her calendar once every weekend to notice.
Yes.
We get to notice.
Oh, Vero. And I'm like, I know, thumbs up, got you, girl. And I'm just like, oh, the dread of Instagram. I can scroll all you want. I will scroll through everyone's accounts. But
that's exactly my thoughts. I'm like, no, she hasn't posted, and I could know she's online because she sent this meme.
She sends us shit every day.
I send you guys stuff all the time. You know what I just started though? I started today. Podcast ideas, like podcast ideas lists, and then a real idea list. Okay, of like my little things to save. Because sometimes I'm in there and I'm like, I could do this. But anyway, I wanted to point to that because this is part of our jobs, right? Like this is something we've taken on as business owners and entrepreneurs. And we're talking about entrepreneurship. And for me, it's like, yes, I'm passionate about what we do. But even if I'm passionate about what we do, I really dread that one thing, which is going on social media and posting. So I will do better on that end. And I would put it on my to-do list, and this time actually cross it off instead of just like
writing it the next day.
Yeah.
Oh, hopefully
they won't notice. For you, Irene, what do you think ¿qué estás pensando? Like, is it a lack of time or lack of priority?
You know, it's interesting when you ask that, because I thought of like all the clients that I've had in my life, and some I'm like, dang, you really are busy. Like, if you really want this goal, you're going to need to get up at 3 a.m. You're going to need to go to bed at 12 p.m. Some people, really, their lives are so freaking busy, and I commend them because I think, my goodness, how do you do it? And then a lot of people, actually the majority of people, you cut through the bullshit and you're like, you have plenty of time. That's why with our clients, we have them do like a time study, and we have them look at where they're spending their time, where they're spending their money, where their influencers are coming from in their outside world, like what's in their mind, like their mindset. And a lot of people do have the time. They're just not prioritizing this thing. And you made a really good point. You dread it. If you don't like it, you're not going to do it. If there's something you dread, then you're not going to do it. So I try to work with my clients and figure out, well, what do you really want to do? You're not passionate about what you do now. Are you about to leave the industry? Are you about to move out of state? Are you about to get divorced? Like, you're about to mix it up major? Because if not, you're going to stay in the dread mode and you're going to stay in the not doing mode. So people have time, but they have time for what they want to do and what excites them and what fires them up and what they love. Or they're just psychos, and like, they are consistent people. We've been editing this podcast for over 5 years, and there's not a Wednesday that we don't drop it because I am so religious about this task. Do I love it? Not necessarily. Do I dread it? Yeah. Sometimes I don't want to clock in for that shift, right? It's late. I'm falling asleep. I got to fly out in the morning, but it's like, I'm committed to this thing. So every personality is different. If you value it being done, do it. If you dread it, do something different. And then maybe that'll make you do it. And some people, I want to say, see you, I hear you, actually don't have time. I work with people that they don't have the time. This might not be the time. And you need to start in 18 months when you free up your life, when your baby grows up, when you get that promotion. Some people truly, time is a real excuse for them. And I want to see them and acknowledge them and like pray for them, because you're strapped. Times are tight and you're taking care of parents. You have multiple jobs. You are a single parent. There can be so many reasons why I understand some people don't have the time, and I want to just acknowledge those people for sure. And those that are using it as an excuse, I see you too. I see you too in the back.
You're right. Don't use them as excuses, okay? The dread is not an excuse. Just get it done. Who cares if your reel isn't cool?
Have your husband do it. Have your husband take over. Dude, start outsourcing. Have your daughter do it. Have Gali do it.
I do that with lunches. Lunches. They handle lunches.
We have cats now, and there was a video of Gali. She took my phone yesterday, and she she was riding the cats in the bicycle in the basket. And I really was going to post that. Like, sometimes you just got to put the cats in the basket and go.
Yes, people want to see the sunshine.
But anyway, okay. So, yes, good ideas. I'm making notes for myself here. You guys, I'm a lifelong learner too, okay? I'm growing, I'm evolving. Am I upsetting my co-owners, my business partners? Yes, I upset them, and I'm sorry. But it's the reality of this. And we never said entrepreneurship amongst 3 women was going to be easy. So here we are, challenge accepted.
With different schedules, different kids, and all, in all aspects of life. So
yeah.
Different strengths, different strategies,
different strains, different
Different
sleeping
strokes.
different sleeping schedules.
different husbands.
Oh, girl.
I know. I hope.
My husband is my freaking secret weapon, y'all. He's a good one. Not that yours isn't. Not that. I didn't mean that. Oh, shit.
Excuse me? Excuse me? Are we
Excuse
now?
Am I
me.
coming for audio? Am I coming for Luis? Am I coming for them?
I know.
Dang, girl. All right. So I'm going to jump into the next one there's so many excuses. The next, we know there's I'm too old for this. I'm too old, or I have responsibilities. And I believe we kind of hit that with what Irene was mentioning, that some women just have a lot. They have a lot on their plate, and it's really hard to say, I want to make this change, but maybe the time is just not now. So the excuse is not that you don't want to do it. It's just the time. So I kind of go with that one on the I have responsibilities. And then there's also, what if I fail? That excuse is very common, and we can probably end our conversation with that one. What if I fail? So what is failure costing you right now, though? Is it costing you wanting to get up in the morning? Coming home happy? Are you coming home angry? Taking it out on your husband, your kids, your couch? I'm just kidding. If you're JD Vance, I'm just kidding. Sorry, that's another joke. I'm so bad. But it's just, what is it costing you? What is failure costing you right now? So what do you think, what do you ladies, like, that's for our listeners, but what do you ladies think that if we're thinking, if I fail, what is it costing our listeners in a sense, right? Or some of our previous clients?
I think the biggest thing to understand with failure is some of the best things are on the other side of failure. And it's so hard to go through failure. It's so hard to be judged. It's so hard to be down and out. It's so hard to be feeling terrible when you're in the midst of failure. Like, you may very well fail, but some of the best things come out of failing, and the never knowing and the regretting what you didn't do and the not trying is just going to eat you alive anyway. You're going to be unhappy, but you will have not quote unquote failed. Like that, I don't get it. Like, I don't think you're actually truly ever actualized or happy unless you've gone through like really, really intense failures in your life. I have had very, very intense failures in my life, and rejections and things that I thought were going to go one way and went a completely different way. And it is what it is. In the end, I look back and I'm like, thank you, God, for those failures. Thank you, God, for those things that put me here. Had they worked out differently, I wouldn't have what I have today. So failure is a very real emotion. It keeps us from doing things. It's this almost like this lizard brain that says, keep you safe, keep you safe, keep you safe. But you will never have like the most amazing adventures or this great promotion or meet that man. How many people in the dating world are not putting themselves out there because they're afraid of failure, afraid of rejection, afraid of what a relationship takes and building that relationship. I have so many clients struggling in that department, but it's fear. Their failure is fear. Their fear of failure is that they're like, I'm afraid of that. I'm afraid I'll be rejected. I'm afraid that I'm going to be dumped again. I'm afraid that I'm not going to be good enough. We have to go through all that because on the other side of that, pero, which maybe something not working out, is something so good often, like the relationship you find or the growth that you experience or the other path you go on because failure made you go on it. Like it's a lesson that we need, I feel.
It's 100% necessary, I feel, that because that's the only way you grow. If you're not learning from failure, then you're just really being hard on yourself, because everyone that has done anything good or has made any progress or has been successful has gone through those moments of complete failure. Or once one step backwards could be 3 steps forward, because it allows you that opportunity to reevaluate your steps. What did I do? What could I have done differently? Right. So failure is very much necessary. If that's what's paralyzing you from making decisions, you kind of have to go add that extra little voice in your head. Well, what if I fail? Well, what if I do? And if I do what? Right. You're a little step closer to knowing it wasn't that bad. What's the worst that can happen? They say no. That really is, once we get that into our mind, that's the worst that can happen, that's okay, because you're preparing yourself, right? Like it's like for anything, what can happen tomorrow? Well, the worst thing that happens, I don't make it back home. That's terrible, right? But if you think you prepare yourself, it's like they always say, prepare yourself for the worst. When you're making plans, prepare for the things going terribly bad, so that if things aren't going to how you need them, you can adapt. You can be a little more flexible because you already have in mind the things that you can do to succeed. So failing could be because of fear, and it's so paralyzing to think, what are they going to think? Here I go again, trying this again. Imagine if, Ben and Jerry's quit making ice cream because it wasn't tasting good. We wouldn't have Ben and Jerry's, or whoever invented the michelada. If they were just like, well, this isn't great tasting, well, never mind, right? Tequila, same thing.
That's so funny. They're all like experiments. We wouldn't have these great things. No, but even like closer to us, like I keep thinking of all the things that I cherish and I think I have now that are beautiful. I was failing at once. I was failing at my marriage. I was failing at my finances. I was failing at parenting. I was failing at traveling. I was failing in my career. Maybe not my career. I feel in that place I've been pretty solid. But people would say I was failing because I wasn't making a lot of money, actually. Like I wasn't doing it for the money. So that seems like a failure. Why are you doing that work, right? That felt very judged. They don't pay you much. And there I am doing it. So all those things I'm super proud of now. Like I'm super proud I survived failing at marriage, failing at money, failing at parenting.
Like, were you actually failing, or were you just working? You were working
trying to get better.
Like hustle culture 100%. I was working on everything, right? But if it wasn't, but if you wouldn't have gone through that, Irene, imagine like what advice would we be giving these women? Like what tip of the day would we be giving these women that are listening to us, right?
Yeah, get divorced.
Never mind, it's not that great. Stop. Like no, we're get divorced. It's not worth it. Bye. Bye.
Yeah.
That's so fun and it's so stressful. Your hair falls out. Less shampoo, less conditioner.
Trying to find the silver lining and shit. Just become a single parent. It's easier. No, it's not.
Girl, no, it's not. God. Okay, look, there's always the idea of like it could be easier or it could be this. The thing is that you're not gonna have change. Your passion, it really is hard to be who we are culturally, right? Latinas, and how we grow up. And try to make it, right? The making it. So create your own vision. Create a vision of what success is, what you're great at, why you're doing the job, what makes that job great, and focus on that and consistently grow. So challenge yourself, fail a little. It's okay to fail. Fail a little. Don't be scared because you're going to get up from a little step higher than before. As long as you're learning, don't be a tonta and be like, ay, pues me pasó esa vez. It's like, then you're crazy. What is that saying? The definition
like
of
doing
insanity
the same thing
is
over and over again and expecting
expecting
different results. Oh, it's crazy.
Results, yes. So let's get past that, all right, ladies and gents, if you're listening. But that's going to wrap up our conversation today. We challenge you to really leave with this question. What is the fear or what is failure costing you right now? Like, what if I fail? So what is that costing you right now? Think about it. When this episode drops, leave us in the comments, what is it costing you, please? Because we want to know, and how can we work through that, okay? But thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening to Ceci, Irene, and Vero today. We really appreciate you spending time with us. And it is the summertime. Stay hydrated. Have a good time. Be safe. Check where you're at. Check yourself in your career. And hopefully things will be great by the end of the summer and fall into a nice, calm moment and end of the year, okay? With that, thank you for tuning in. And if you want to keep this conversation going, you can always email us, admin@leveluplatina.com. You can check out everything that Ceci, Irene, and myself are doing at leveluplatina.com. Learn about us and what we're doing, our guilt-free squad. Please join us. Please, let's keep this conversation going. Thank you so much. Did I leave anything out, Irene?
At Level Up Latina, I think you said is our handle, but it's the same old stuff. You guys have heard these shows. Hit us up. Answer Vero's question. It's a good question.
All right. So thank you very much. Se la lavan y se cuidan, okay?